name is Jenna. Today I'm going to be doing my movie and television show wrap up for June of 2020. If you watched my June wrap up video, you would know that I barely read anything that month, and that is because I was in a reading slump and I took that out and watched many TV shows and movies. So I watched 6 TV shows this month and I watched 20 movies. So many were rewatches. There was one TV show that was completely new, one TV show that was mostly a rewatch, and then the last little bit was new, the rest were all rewatches. The movies, I think I watched 3 new films and everything else was a rewatch. So yep, let's just jump right in. So as always, we will start with the TV shows. So the first TV show that I watched this month was The Fosters. I rewatched season 4 and I rewatched the first half of season 5 and then the rest of season 5 and the specials I had never seen. I gave it overall a 4 out of 5 stars. I really loved this show. I thought it was fantastic. It had such good representation. It really taught you so much about family and the world and just opened my eyes to so many different things and different cultures and different people, races, that sort of thing. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I don't even remember why I never watched the end half of season 5. I think it was just that I didn't want the show to end, but it sort of got to the point where the show ended, I think 3 years ago now. So I was like, you know what? It's time, Jenna, you need to watch it. So I watched the second half of season 5 and was sobbing in the finale because I was not expecting them to do what they did. And then the last 3 episodes were fan-freaking-tastic. They did a 3-part series finale that aired over 3 nights back when it did air, and it was fantastic. It was beautiful. It gave everyone such a brilliant ending. It really closed off everybody's stories in such a way that I felt satisfied. I knew I was going to see them all again, obviously, because we do have this spin-off series, Good Trouble, but I felt really satisfied with the way that they ended the series and I loved it. Second TV show that I watched this month was season 1 of October Faction. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. This was okay. It was exciting to begin with, and then it was kind of confusing, and then it was just disappointing. Like, it had such a fantastic premise and it just didn't follow through with it. So by the end of the series I was left sitting there like, yeah, okay, but where's the rest of your story? Why does nothing make sense? So I'm unsurprised and not that disappointed that the show is not getting a second season, because even though they ended on a cliffhanger for so many of the characters and so much of what was going on, I'm just sitting there like, I don't care. He can be dead, he can't be dead, I don't care. Third TV show that I watched was another rewatch, and that was seasons 7 and 8 of Modern Family, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Again, I'm loving rewatching Modern Family, going through that one. In fact, this was the last 2 seasons of my rewatch. The next 3 seasons, 9, 10 and 11, I've actually never seen. So rewatching seasons 7 and 8 was great. Everyone is so much older now, and I feel like it makes a lot of sense. Like, I think I prefer the younger seasons because that's what I'm more familiar with and that's what I enjoy watching. But as the show has gotten older, and I have gotten older with the show, because the show first premiered back in what, 2009, I think? So I think I have pretty much been roughly around the same age as Hayley as the show has gone on. I think she's been a little bit older than me each season. But so going through that, I've seen a lot of myself and sort of what I'm going through reflected in what these characters are going through, and that is something that I'm really loving watching. It's kind of confronting at times, I won't lie, but it's a great time. It's still such a funny show. Even in season 7 and 8, I was losing it laughing. I honestly can't wait to watch 9, 10, 11. I think they're going to be fantastic and really funny because it's just something that this show does really, really well. Fourth TV show I watched was another rewatch. That was NCIS season 6. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. This is the last season of NCIS that I am going to be able to rewatch because I don't own anything past season 6 on DVD and I no longer have access to it on Foxtel now, so I'm shelving this rewatch for a little while. Well, in fact, actually, no, this is the last of my rewatch. Season 7 onwards I've never seen. I did enjoy this season. I thought that it's starting to get a little bit stale for me. They're sort of recycling the same plot lines and the same threads, and I'm sort of sitting there going, I don't know. I don't know how you're going to keep this show fresh. I don't know how they've managed to make it to 18 seasons, but they have. So clearly they have managed to keep it fresh, and I'm curious to see how they've done that. But I'm at the point where I'm like, if I never watched another season of NCIS again, I'd probably be fine. But I don't know. The 5th TV show that I watched this month was another rewatch. That was seasons 4 and 5 of Younger. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I do really, really enjoy Younger. It's such an easy show to watch. You sort of fall in love with all of the characters and you really want to see them succeed. It definitely is all about publishing, and in the back of my head it's sort of like, yes, Jenny, you want to get into publishing, but I'm also looking at it and really thinking and going, but do I really want to get into publishing? Because it seems like there's no money in it. It seems like it's a hell of a lot of hard work, and they seem to, especially editors, which is sort of what I was gearing towards, they seem to not leave their work at work. They always bring their work home with them, and that's something that I'm very conscious of that I don't want to do. I have so much in my personal life going on and other hobbies that I want a job where I get to leave it at work. I don't want to bring it home. That's why I'm not being a teacher, because teachers have no free time. And then the last TV show that I watched was another rewatch. That was season 1 of The Sweet Life on Deck. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Sweet Life on Deck is the sequel series slash spin-off series to The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. So it follows Zack, Cody, London, Mr. Mosby and their new friend Bailey on the SS Tipton, where they are all attending Seven Seas High, and they're just traveling around the world, going to school and getting into mischief. And I love that. I love it so much. When I first watched this, was so jealous that I didn't get to go to I didn't get to go to school on a cruise ship, because how freaking awesome would that have been? But, you know, can't have everything. Oh, I watched 4 new movies. I forgot about one because it wasn't good, but not like memorably not good, just fell under the radar not good. So we're gonna move on to the movies. I did watch 20 of them, and for context, I did a full rewatch of the XMen series. So that is 12 films just in its own. So that's where the majority of my movies came from. Yeah, and the majority of that was all in one weekend. I think I watched 6 movies in one weekend, so I did good. Okay, so the first movie that I watched was a rewatch. That was Jurassic Park 3. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. This film is just meh in my opinion. I think it's meh in a lot of people's opinions. It's definitely the weakest of the original trilogy, and it doesn't have the same fun, I guess, that the first two do. It's just kind of stupid. The Spinosaurus is nowhere near as scary as a Tyrannosaurus Rex or Velociraptors, so I just struggle with the Spinosaurus a little bit. I struggle with the stupidity of the characters in this film, and I struggle with this movie a lot. Then immediately after the second film was another rewatch. That was Jurassic World. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I freaking love Jurassic World. It's a fantastic reboot slash sequel to the Jurassic Park series, and it really does bring it into the modern day with the park that is actually running. And then something I love about it is that it takes place over 24 hours, and I don't know why I love that so much. I just do. I really like films that have a timeline, but it doesn't feel like it takes place over 24 hours, but it also doesn't feel like it's stretching on for days. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, they are a great on-screen pairing. I absolutely love watching them bounce off each other. I love Zach and Gray. I love Zach and Gray. I love everything about the film. I really, really do. I think it's fantastic and a really good movie. The other film that I watched was the first non-rewatch of the month, and that was War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise version, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars to. I wanted to enjoy this way more than I did, because I know the War of the Worlds story by George Orwell, I think it is such a compelling, brilliant story with a fantastic twist of an ending. And watching this film, I'm just watching it and I'm like, I don't get it. It's not explained well, except in a Morgan Freeman voiceover, which is just stupid. And the whole film was just annoying. The characters were so annoying. Dakota Fanning's character was completely useless. I would have left her. Like, at the beginning, I would have been like, nope, find your own way home. You are so annoying. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. But, you know, Tom Cruise. So, speaking of Tom Cruise, because that was such a disappointing movie, I then went and rewatched Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Love Rogue Nation. Think it's very, very good. It's a great film. Mission Impossible movies are one. It's that franchise where the stuff that's happening on screen is so stupid, but you can't help but love it because things are exploding and people are smart talking. It's the Mission Impossible films in a nutshell, guys. Great series. Highly recommend. Yeah, Rogue Nation is a great film. We get introduced to some really fun characters and we get to see everybody again, so I'm a fan. I then rewatched Mission Impossible Fallout, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars to. This is the first Mission Impossible film I ever saw. It's also my favorite Mission Impossible film, and it was made even better by the fact that Henry Cavill is in it with this little thing that he does in the bathroom, which is so dumb and lame, and I just sit there watching it being like, why is this a thing? The whole helicopter chase at the end of the film is so dumb, but I can't help but absolutely love it. I think when it comes to like big budget action films, the dumber their action sequences are, the more I end up loving them. I think that's why I love the like Fast and Furious franchise so much, because it's also dumb and just physics doesn't work that way, but it's fun. It's a fun time. Oh, the 6th film that I watched this month was Artemis Fowl, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars to. I'm not going to talk too much about it here because I did a whole video on why you should pretend the movie doesn't exist. It was one of the worst book to movie adaptations I have ever seen, and not only was it a bad book to movie adaptation, it was just a bad movie. Definitely, if you're interested in why you should pretend that movie doesn't exist, check out my video. I'll leave it linked in the description box below. But basically, bad acting, bad writing, bad everything. It was half a movie, not even half a movie. It was like a quarter of a movie. The main character is not Artemis Fowl. He may have the same name, but they're not the same character from the book. And I'm pretty sure no one from the production actually bothered to read the book because there was nothing recognizable about it. And now we start my X-Men movie rewatch slash watch for a couple of the films that I'd never seen before. So, number 7, 7th film I watched this month was X-Men, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a great start to the series. I love how it focuses so much on Wolverine and Rogue and getting us introduced to the characters and sort of introduced to this world for people who don't know who the X-Men are, like myself when I first started watching these movies for the first time. And I really enjoy this one. It's kind of simple for an X-Men movie, but it's a great time. Movie number 8 was X2, or is it X-Men X2? X2 United? I don't know, it's X2. I gave this one again a 4 out of 5 stars. I love it. I have a couple of issues with it. The biggest issue is the fact that Cyclops just kind of disappears for over half the movie, and that makes me sad because I love him. And then we see him again and he's totally brainwashed. Then like Jean hits him really hard on the head and then he's good again. I'm like, no worries. That's a good film, and again, we like to pretend that it was a duology, not a trilogy, but of course it was not. So the 9th film that I rewatched was X-Men The Last Stand. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like I'm fairly generous with my 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, this movie was not good. It ruins the Dark Phoenix storyline because I ended up going and looking up the Dark Phoenix storyline, and it's fantastic. It's so beautiful, and this film does not do it justice at all. I hate the Logan Jean romance, so over half the film was ruined for me just for that. And then, you know, we get this ending that's really, it's not ambiguous, but it's kind of ambiguous, and I'm just like, why though? Why is this how you chose to end your franchise? It's bad. I can see why they retconned it. And then we watched X-Men Origins Wolverine, because I remember the first time I ever saw this film, I was on a plane on my way home from South Africa, and I didn't have a little TV in the back of the screen either. It was one of the TVs that they have that drops down and you just connect your earphones to it. No idea what was going on. So I already had kind of a bad opinion of the film, and then I think I must have rewatched it a couple of years ago and just blocked it from my memory, but it's not good. Nothing about the movie is good. Everything about it is terrible. They like assemble the X-Force, I think, and then immediately disband it and kill everybody. And then we get Deadpool, and I don't even like Deadpool, and I can see why Ryan Reynolds was so angry and wanted to make his own franchise out of it because it's so bad. And yeah, it's not a good movie. You can skip it. It doesn't even really add anything to the Wolverine storyline, so you can 100% just skip that film. Especially because they retconned it, and so everything that happened in that film didn't really happen. The retcon kind of bugs me for that exact reason. Okay, next up we had the 11th film was X-Men First Class, which I rewatched and gave 4 out of 5 stars, and I forget, until I'm watching the movie, I forget just how solid of a film it actually is. Like, it's a really good film. It's got a great story. It reintroduces us to these characters that we already know and love, but does it in a different way, and we see such a different side of them, but we can also see how they become who they are in the original trilogy. So I love that. I think it's a fantastic film. The 12th film that I rewatched was The Wolverine, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This is a good Wolverine movie. I really love it. I love that it is sort of a step away from the mutant side of things, because I quite often forget that it's a mutant movie because there's barely any mutants in it. But I really like that. I like that we sort of get to delve a little bit more into Wolverine, into his psyche. I don't love that Jean kept popping up because, again, don't love that relationship, but overall it was a great film and I liked all the Japanese stuff. The 13th film that I watched was my favorite of all of the X-Men movies. Now that I've seen them all, I can definitively say my favorite film of all of them is X-Men Days of Future Past. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I watched the Road Cut because the Road Cut is infinitely better, and I just love everything about it. I love the way they have intertwined the past and the present. I love the way that we get to see everybody involved. We get to see the original cast and the new cast. Both casts really do bounce off each other so well. The story is really complex and the character development is fantastic. fantastic, and I just love absolutely everything about the film. 14th film that I watched was Deadpool. I watched this for the first time. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Nobody, including me, thought I would like this movie. I was pretty sure I was gonna hate it, and I did. I just don't get it. It's so stupid. The entire thing was dull. It wasn't funny. It was geared towards 12-year-old immature boys, and I just was not a fan at all. 15th film was another rewatch, and that was X-Men Apocalypse, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't hate the film as much this time around. Like, I saw the merits of it in this second watch. It was, yeah, only the second time I've watched it. But I think coming off the heels of X-Men Days of Future Past, the film was sort of doomed to fail, especially when they announced they were going to be introducing like younger versions of Jean, Cyclops, Storm. It just didn't quite work. I don't know if it's who they got to play those characters that didn't work, or if it was just the film itself, but I did like it more this time around, but it still wasn't great. 16th film was another rewatch. That was Logan. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. This is arguably the best Wolverine movie of all of them. It's fantastic. It's so dark and gritty, but not just in the gore aspect. It's also dark and gritty in the world that they're in is so desolate and depressing, and no one has any hope anymore, and it's just magnifique. I love it. I love, oh, it's the introduction to Daphne Keane, who has gone on to play Lyra Blackwa in His Dark Materials. Such a good film, but she's fantastic, and it was like her first acting role. It was brilliant. Love her, love him, love everything. 17th film was Deadpool 2, which I had not seen before. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy this one marginally more than the first film. I thought this one actually had clever jokes, unlike the first one, which was literally mostly just fart jokes geared towards 12-year-olds. This one actually had clever jokes that people had to think a little bit about. The storyline was much better because there actually was a goddamn storyline. There really wasn't in the first film, but this one had one. The soundtrack actually is what made me love it. The soundtrack was brilliant, and I lost my shit at the X-Men cameo at the mansion. Oh, I honestly laughed so hard. I had to pause the movie because I couldn't stop laughing. It was fantastic. But apart from that, I'm still not sold on Deadpool, but I did enjoy the second one much more than the first. The 18th film that I watched was not a rewatch, it was a new one, and that was X-Men Dark Phoenix, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars, and my entire notes for this one is just yeesh. It wasn't awful. It wasn't Last Stand bad. Well, I mean, it must have been because I gave it less than Last Stand. I don't know, they ruined everybody's characters. In a way, everyone was acting really differently than they had been acting in previous films. The story was really lame. I didn't realize there were aliens in the movie. Why do you need aliens in a movie about mutants? Like, is that not different enough for you? And I mean, what was the point of Magneto being in the movie? Apart from to be eye candy, because there was no point for Magneto to be in the movie. And it really bugged me that the film was marketed as like, oh, they have to turn against one of their own, and they do. So we go from the X-Men being awesome to the X-Men hunting Jean to the X-Men helping Jean to the everyone just having fun and playing chess. And I was like, what is happening? Why is there no coherent storyline? Why does this suck? So yeah, very disappointed in that film. I didn't expect to like it though, that's the thing. There's a reason why I haven't watched it until now. I didn't go see it in the cinema, and I haven't watched it until now because X-Men Apocalypse was not great, so how could X-Men Dark Phoenix be good? And it wasn't. Very disappointed in the film, but didn't actively hate it. Like, by the time I finished, I sort of went, I could see myself one day watching that again if I were to do another X-Men rewatch, but it's not. Unlike Days of Future Past, which I just put on for fun, this is not a film I would ever just put on for fun. Speaking of films you put on for fun, the 19th film was another rewatch. That was The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I've said it before, I will say it again. Little Mermaid 2 is arguably one of the best Disney sequels to a Disney Renaissance film ever. It's fantastic. It's a very short film, but it has such a concise storyline. It has new but lovable characters. The songs are fantastic but not overwhelming, and it just makes me happy every time I watch it. So I love Little Mermaid 2, and no one fight me because it is arguably one of the best Disney sequels. The only one that comes close to it is Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Great film. And then the very last movie that I watched this month was another one that you put on because it's fun. I was having a bit of a Disney day, and I rewatched Pooh's Grand Adventure, The Search for Christopher Robin. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I used to watch this all the time when I was a kid. It's adorable. All the little characters, they misinterpret the fact that Christopher Robin is going to school. They think he's going to Skull. They have to save him from the Skullosaurus that turns out to just be Pooh's stomach because he hasn't eaten enough honey. And I just love everything about it. It's got songs and it's just so cute and everyone is adorable and I love them. There you go. Those are the 6 TV shows and 20 movies that I watched in the month of June. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you have seen any of these shows or movies because I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.